Star Wars Battlefront 2 is a team-based shooter set in the Star Wars universe. As in the previous game, you'll take control of various infantry classes and vehicles in battles that take place during both Star Wars eras, the Clone Wars and the Rebellion. There are more than 20 maps in the game, and if you're a Star Wars fan, you'll be playing in very familiar locales like Mos Eisley, the swamps of Dagobah, and the high cities of Coruscant. If you've played the first game, then the sequel should feel very familiar to you. You'll spawn on the map as an infantryman and be able to choose from a number of classes like regular rifle troopers, snipers, and engineers. New special classes have also been added to each of the factions like clone commanders and imperial officers. These troops have special auras that can enhance the fighting ability of nearby allies. A number of new features are available in Battlefront 2. One of them is the ability to take control of hero characters like Jedi on both single and multiplayer matches. The heroes are usually unlocked after you've reached a certain number of points. In multiplayer matches, only one hero is available at a time, and it's generally awarded to the top player on each side. The hero characters aren't invincible though, but in the hands of a skilled player, heroes like Yoda or General Grievous can cut a swath through enemies and help swing the tide of the battle. But if you get enough people gunning for the hero, he'll go down pretty quick. It sounds exciting to take control of a hero, but in practice, it's not really quite what it's cracked up to be. Usually the hero is a lightsaber-armed Jedi, and combat basically involves mashing on the attack button to swing your saber, or pressing another button to throw it. Some of the Jedi have powers like Force Push, but we've found that playing as heroes generally isn't quite the epic experience that we're hoping for, although they do make a huge difference in the single-player game. Another new feature in the game that's probably more exciting is the addition of space combat battles. In these fights, you spawn as a pilot or marine in the belly of a capital ship like an Imperial Star Destroyer. You'll jump in various fighters or bomber craft, and then fly out into space to dogfight other fighters or attack the capital ships. These capital ships have vulnerable points on them like communications arrays or the bridge that you can attack. It's also possible to fly right into the fighter bay of an enemy capital ship, jump out, and then sabotage the ship from the inside out. This can be really exciting. The space fights actually provide most of the vehicle dimension to Battlefront 2, as the presence and importance of vehicles on the land maps have been lessened to a degree compared to the last Battlefront game. There seems to be more focus on infantry combat and the Jedi in those maps. But the space maps are still pretty fun to play, even if the few that are included are all pretty similar in how they're set up. Two single-player modes exist in Battlefront 2. There's Rise of the Empire, which is a story-based campaign that sends you on a series of assault-style missions that follow the story of how the Clone Army became the Stormtroopers. There's also a mode called Galactic Conquest, which combines a turn-based strategy mode with playing standard conquest matches against a computer. Both of these modes are pretty fun to play for a while, but you'll find that the AI leaves a lot to be desired. It's not uncommon to see soldiers getting stuck in walls or in narrow hallways, for instance. The real focus of Battlefront 2 is its multiplayer aspect, which includes several modes like Conquest, CTF, and Hunt, where one side takes control of indigenous species like Ewoks or Gungans and tries to fight off the invading team. Multiplayer Battlefront supports up to 24, 32, or 64 players on the PS2, Xbox, and PC respectively. In our testing, the multiplayer works pretty smoothly on all the platforms, and it's pretty fun to play, at least on the console. The PC version of Battlefront 2 may not be quite as appealing to those who are used to other online shooters on the PC, and this is because Battlefront 2's interface and control feel is just looser and less refined than in other games. In other words, it just feels a lot like a console game ported over to a PC. So unless you're a real hardcore Star Wars fanatic, the game may not be quite as appealing on the PC. The bottom line with the game is that it's definitely better than its predecessor with the addition of new classes, playable Jedi, and space combat. But if you've already played the original, the sequel will feel really familiar, perhaps even too much so. If you're looking for a quantum leap from the first Battlefront, you won't find it here. But if you wanted a solid, team-based Star Wars shooter with a few incremental improvements from Battlefront 1, then Battlefront 2 is exactly what you're looking for.